Strike! Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
Nice move here. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here.
Hear ye, and welcome live from $2 for the Honest Abe Sports Report. I forgot to change Lincoln Lounge to $2 in my opening, but we will be covering all the hot topics surrounding the sports world. Please follow us across all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find us on all listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and what, Aaron?
iHeartRadio.
That a boy, he was ready. But as always, I'm the sexy Gretzky, George Gresko, and I'm alongside a few sports enthusiasts that are football throwing, baseball bat swinging, basketball dribbling, swinging for the fence. It's a home run. I'm sitting next to Ulysses S. Rant, Kyle Carini.
Hey, thanks for having me. Go Browns.
Mr. Dilbert himself, Aaron Adams.
Who?
And the one, the only.
And who's this guy? I want to know who this guy is.
Tito Round Tripper, Baseball Whisperer.
Yo, happy Sports Sunday, everybody.
Baseball whisperer. I like it.
Tito, you'll be debuting a new show tonight, Talking Tribe. Tito will be going live tonight at 8 p.m. Can you tell your listeners what they can expect? What's going on? What is Talking Tribe with Tito Round Tripper?
Every Sunday during the MLB playoffs at 8 p.m., we'll be doing Talkin' Tribe with Tito. So today will be a lot of tribe talk and a little bit of setting up the AL playoff field. And then our first playoff game is the 5th, so our next episode will come right between games 1 and 2 and focus on a review of game 1 and a preview of game 2. So tune in today for the big debut with a lot of tribe talk and setting up the AL field and a quick preview of the 2 wild card series in the AL starting Tuesday, in addition to a bunch of Cleveland baseball talk, hype, speculation.
I love it. And you're getting a new set together as we were speaking a little longer, a few minutes ago. You're getting all ready to go for tonight. Big show, the debut, baby.
Yeah.
Talking Tribe.
Yeah, it was a tough loss last night for the Guardians. I was down at Progressive Field, but hopefully they get it done today.
All right, gentlemen, we got here together to do a pop-up Cleveland Browns pre-show. So let's dive right into it. The Cleveland Browns travel to Las Vegas and will take on the Raiders today at 4:25, about an hour and a half away. This is a first of 3 straight games on the road. Let's start off with the quarterbacks in the game. Start off with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew catches fire. He can be real dangerous, gentlemen. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he didn't have a good game last week. I actually had a really bad game. Well, Deshaun Watson's been nothing but bad or mediocre all season. So, so that's why, the total of this game was 43.5. It has moved down now to 37. The Browns, surprisingly to me, are still favored to win. I don't think they will win. Two for the most part. I mean, Minshew's had some good games, but he's had some bad games. So, because mediocre quarterback play, I think that's why the total has moved down so low, and it's now the lowest total of any game this week. So we'll see what happens.
Do you think Gardner Minshew is going to play well? There was talks that he might not even start today's game, but he did get the start.
Well,
is there other thoughts?
He's starting to get, we'll see with the Browns, they've got Deshaun Watson pretty much locked in as a starter. I mean, we sold the farm to have him.
No, I'm talking about Minshew.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But now Minshew's kind of in danger of losing his job.
There isn't the level of commitment, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's just the wind could blow a different way, and they could be like it's Aiden O'Connell time.
So, yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of pressure on him, and he does play the Browns well. So, we'll see what Minshew can do.
Yeah, when Minshew was a Colt last year, it was a rare case. People were on the internet complaining about the refs favoring the Browns. We won like a wild 41-38 or 41-40
Now that
battle.
one, I do remember when we won that one. It was so weird. It was like that questionable play.
We admittedly got some fortunate calls because I remember it being like the Bizarro universe because people were on the internet like Cleveland always catching the breaks and like
Normally we don't.
Yeah, Clevelanditis being what it is, we're like double screening the thread, like, wait, what did they just say? What's happening? But yes, no. We actually, and I was like, hey, I feel like we had 5 years worth of being ripped off on calls in a savings bank somewhere, and that vault just got emptied to squeak us by that Colts game. We had it coming. We deserved it.
That was the game where Myles Garrett jumped over the line, blocked the field goal, and he got a safety.
Yeah, that's what led to the weird score.
Yeah,
okay, because I remember it didn't add up all nice like 35. That's why it was like
the Myles Garrett game.
Yeah,
that's all. He just terrorized.
Dilbert, any thoughts on Gardner Minshew coming into this game?
I mean, I think he'll play all right, but if our defense or if our offense can't do anything and he's on the field the whole game, he's going to score. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the league for a while. He's going to score if we can't do anything with the ball.
And I agree, but this is the thing. The injury bug hit the Raiders for today's game.
Can we talk about the injuries?
Minshew is without his number one target, Devontae Adams, and his second target, Michael Mayer's out today as well. So that's always a good sign for the Browns' defense. Devontae Adams off the field. So thoughts on those two injuries?
Well, yeah, with losing their top two targets, they'll probably run the ball more often.
Good. I want them to run the football.
And it's been a quiet year so far from Zamir White, their running back. He's a talented kid, reasonably well touted and stuff. But here we are in week 4, and he still hasn't gotten going. So let's not let this be the week he gets going. We can key in on him probably a bit more with all their injuries. So.
And we were talking earlier, we saw all these injuries, Crosby's out as well, Devontae Adams, another tight end for the Raiders. This almost seems like a must-win, that you have to win this with all these hurt players out of the game.
Yeah, let's hope that their rotation's really disrupted because Crosby's they throw around the term Iron Man for pass rushers that don't sub out as much as some people, but you can look it up. Crosby sits out 6 defensive plays a year. So let's hope that no one's even used to being on that side, and their line isn't as well rested with him not being in there. Because some people talk the talk. I only sit out 6 plays a game. Crosby's never out of there. So
yeah, he's out with a hurt ankle, and they said it could be a little bit more hurt than they thought he originally was too. So
through 3 weeks, Crosby has 3 sacks. The rest of the team has a combined total 2 sacks.
Wow.
Right. So
that's
that's just the motor. That just speaks to the motor that Crosby has.
That's good because as we both know, or all of us know, that the tackles are for us. Conklin and Wills, they're not playing, so even their backups still might be able to get the Watson.
And that's exactly what I was getting to. Browns' key injuries. The Browns are without lineman Conklin, Jedrick Wills is out, and tight end David Njoku. And people are beating up our offensive line right now due to injuries. They suck.
Yeah, Wills is out, and so is Conklin. I have the list of Browns inactives here.
Oh God, we'll be here a while.
So DTR, he's out. Pierre Strong out.
Yeah.
Khalif Halasi, cornerback, out. Wills and Conklin, who I mentioned. Thrash, the new wide receiver, and of course Njoku. And
I was saying too, is the offensive line gets bashed, but you think our starting tight end David Njoku that helps chip defensive ends 85% of the time to slow defensive ends have been out the past 2 weeks. So you're not getting any help with chipping tight ends right now because Njoku's out as well.
Yeah. Each trenches are beat up, their best pass rusher and all our injuries at tackle.
Yeah.
So we can't take for granted, Crosby's out, it's an advantage. That just will stop them from beating us up, and then it's still a toss-up to see whose backups will push who around down there.
Well, the last thing I just remember, I remember in that game last year against the Colts, Minshew ran the ball against us. And he ran all over us.
He had big runs, too, 45-yard runs.
I know.
We
were late to adjust, and we never saw it coming, and we just kept letting it happen. So, he's not a statue. And there's so many legit running quarterbacks that people like him with, the low-key mobility will fly under the radar. But, yes, you can't let that happen more than once or twice without adjusting.
But I wouldn't downplay the role of the Browns' injuries too. Our offensive line is all beat up.
Yeah, it's 2 starters. That's huge. Yep. With Wills and Conklin now, that's huge. So And but like I said, with Crosby being out, I think that definitely does help Deshaun today. Deshaun, you guys know it. He doesn't like playing at home. He's getting criticized every time he's at home.
Well, yeah.
So there's no fans booing him. But I'm like, dude, you're in Las Vegas now. It's not really a road game because it's a tourist site. So there's a shit ton of. This is going to be a Browns home game today, and people don't understand. There is hundreds of people down there from Cleveland going to this game. It's going to be Browns. I'm telling you, thousands, hundreds of thousands. They're fucking Browns fans. So I'm like, maybe
I
Deshaun
have a
sucks
few
it up
coworkers
again.
actually making the trip.
Well, Vegas is hands down, since they got a franchise this handful of years ago, the biggest road destination, and that's before you even double down and qualify that with how spread out Browns fans are and how well Browns fans themselves travel in road games.
Yeah.
So it's like the irresistible force meets the movable objects. Like Vegas is like, hey, come here for road trips, and then Browns fans are like, oh, yes, we will take our money. We do that all the time. So, yeah, there's going to be plenty of Browns fans partying in Vegas.
We had a comment, possibly Wyatt Teller is going to be out as well. So possible three starting offensive linemen out in this game. But like I said again, with Crosby out, it definitely helps backups not have to worry about a guy like that.
That's why we're dropping that total to 37. Might as well just make it 34 at this point. Shit.
All right, let's talk about Deshaun a little bit. We've talked about him a little bit already, but Deshaun has played a lot better in a Browns uniform when he's on the road. I just said that a little bit ago. Do you think he improves at all today? Like, is there just something spark? Like, he's in Vegas, like
hopefully he didn't go out and party all night
under the bright lights, Tito.
Right?
Like, does something change here?
Let's hope that. Because I'm about as easy on Deshaun as someone in this market wearing a headset talking about the game might be on Deshaun.
To not be so easy on him. I mean,
right. Well, we're all, obviously disappointed with the underperformance.
17 touchdowns in 15 games. Always had.
It's high time for that 300-yard game with their best pass rusher out. So, I'll hedge you a little bit and say I think he gets his first 300-yard game. But, no, if he doesn't get his 300-yard game, it's like, when's it going to be? So it's now or never. I'm reasonably confident he is going to get that 300-yard game. No disrespect to the Red Rifle, but if Andy Dalton could find holes in this Raiders defense, this is time for Deshaun's 300-yard game. I'd say I'm pretty optimistic. Let me call it 75% Deshaun Watson gets his 300-yard game today.
I think you're out of your goddamn mind.
Of course, yeah. Like I said, I qualified at the beginning as saying I'm easier on him than anyone around here who's been looking at this crap for the past few years should be. But, man, I still remember the good parts, and, they weren't 15 years ago, so let's see if today's the day.
Yeah.
He's going to look great on the opening drive because Stefanski's going to make a great play call, for the first drive. I bet we score on the first drive, make it look easy, and then we'll just have the normal Browns. Where did that first drive go?
And I agree. They were saying, Stefanski scripts, his first drive. I'm like, so why don't you script multiple drives? You can do that. I used to do it all the time when I coached. You could do that. Mm-hmm. You're expecting the ball to be on the left hash. Maybe the left hash change, you just have to flip the play. But script more than one series. I don't get what the issue is. I don't know. I'm so over the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. I'm over it. I'm ready. I'm ready to move on to Jameis.
Right. Well, that's one way or another. There'll be a quarterback transition at some point, but we have to eke out enough wins for that to matter until that happens. So I'm just taking it week by week.
He still has that new pending case, so. This might be his last game.
Right. Well, that's hand in hand Murphy's Law. If he finally gets his 300-yard game, there'll be the smoking gun, mandatory suspension that'll come out first thing tomorrow. It's just, everyone just patiently waiting for that 300-yard game.
So
and then
just like last year, when
that happens,
the Baltimore game, and he does the guitar, rips his shoulder, and then he's out for season. He'll have a 300-yard game. News would be out first thing on the judge's desk first thing in the morning, and he's screwed.
Pretty much.
Unbelievable. But I do think, though, again, I have to give Max Crosby his props. With him being off the field, I think it definitely does. The pressure's a little less off Deshaun, and he doesn't have to worry about a player like that coming at him every play, in my opinion.
Yeah. So it will not be constant pressure, so come on, respond to what's hopefully sporadic pressure at worst and go from there.
More time to throw to Judy and Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's stop talking about sad Deshaun.
Yeah.
Last week, though, this is pretty awesome. Last week, the Cleveland Browns inducted both Phil Dawson and Jimmy Donovan in the 2024 class of the Browns legends. Definitely emotional for Jimmy Donovan, just because everything he's battled through and in his everyday life. It was also pretty cool to see former kicker Phil Dawson was inducted. We saw Dawson kick many field goals in a Browns jersey, because during that time we couldn't get in the end zone. So there's a lot of Phil Dawson field goals.
Yeah, man, right in the heart of the free agency era when Dawson heyday, and just the job security of a kicker, like different kind of obstacles than Donovan, but Dawson to just be a mainstay on a below average team and be like an impactful kicker for whatever the 10 years he was for us. That's pretty impressive, because there's good kickers on good teams that get like shoved out the door for a third-round draft pick after 3 years. So I don't think people really realize, like, even if he's not like in the top 5 all-time scoring leaders, like just how hard it is to even just stick around and be a difference maker on the same team in the era he played in for as long as he did. So
yeah, what he did was incredible. Some of the kicks that he made, like there was that like double or triple doink that went through. I think it was against Baltimore, and we ended up winning that game. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it hit the back.
It hit the back crossbar. They called it no good, and then they're like, well, they reviewed it and it was good, and we won in overtime.
Yeah, we ended up winning like that. That was one of my memories. The other memory of Phil Dawson is
the Buffalo game,
the snow game, where like they are like literally scooping snow off so he could kick the field goal. Like
I was literally in.
He kicked far field goals too. Sorry, but I think they were like 30-plus yarders too, and they weren't like chip shots.
Yeah, the wind was
they were
blowing.
Decently far. Yeah,
Wind was
even
blowing,
despite the
white
snow
out.
and the rain and snow. I mean, the snow and the wind. He made it.
You think you're kicking off ground that's frozen? Like you're kicking off cement. Like you'll stub your damn toe.
Yep.
Because the ball's like concrete.
They say Pittsburgh's even harder to kick in than Cleveland, and I was in Pittsburgh in '99 when we got that improbable road win against them. Our first ever win was that Hail Mary against the Saints, and I think our only other win that year was just ugly 16-14 Pittsburgh
Was
game.
that the Kelly Holcomb playoff game where he threw 500 yards?
No, this was '99 when we were an expansion team. This was even earlier than that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it was like, Hail Mary, that was cool and stuff, but that was like the first time we actually won a game without throwing a 55-yard bomb at the buzzer, and so that was a good one. That was like leaving a crime scene, because going back to the Browns traveling well, sometimes they travel weller than others. There was not another orange and brown jersey in that section, so it was just like, yay, we won, and hastily head to the exit.
But if you remember when the Browns were real bad, like not too long ago, I remember like going to a Steelers game, and there was more terrible towels in Cleveland Browns Stadium than Browns fans. I'm like, this is bad on Browns fans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like in 15-16 you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, it was terrible.
Oh, yeah. All those games.
And Aaron, you were a season ticket holder through the worst Browns teams of all time.
Oh, well, props, because my family had some for the dark years too.
The Cowboys and the Brady game, when he returned from his suspension after the Deflategate or whatever, I've never seen a stadium filled with more of the other team's fans. It was gross.
Yeah.
It was so annoying. Both those games.
Yeah, let's hope that we firmly go back to being known as the team that travels well, not the team that lets our stadium get invaded. So.
Then any thoughts on Jimmy Donovan? Because, I mean, it is a pretty cool honor that, he's going through what he's going through, and Browns did the right thing getting him in.
I hope he can get healthy enough to make a guest appearance on a couple games.
Absolutely.
It doesn't sound the same without him.
No, it doesn't.
Siciliano's good, but he's not as good as Jim Donovan.
It's gonna be like one day when Hamilton leaves.
I don't even want to think about that.
It's such a nostalgic voice.
We don't know it in the market we're in. It's not normal to be like, let's turn off the game and listen to the radio. But since we're spoiled with the voices in our area, it totally is. It's a question that has to be asked. Like, if you're in mixed company, it's just standard in this market to like break the ice. Like, are we killing the sound on the TV, or like,
right?
You just have to ask that.
I always liked it. Like when I was traveling, like going to meet up with friends and the game would be on. I just kind of chill in my car for a little while and listen to it, act like I'm still on the way. But hey, I do have a score update for you guys. The Steelers are losing finally to the Colts.
That's beautiful. Good.
10-17. Hey, and interestingly enough,
they made it a game though.
I don't know if there was an injury, but Joe Flacco has been in the game. He's 11 for 18 for 105 yards and 1 touchdown.
So he's on the way to a 300-yard game in the fourth quarter. Could you imagine he throws for 200 yards in the fourth quarter, beats the Steelers?
Hey, I've been hoping for someone to slow one of our division rivals down in the earlier games. The
hopefully
Colts
the
got off to a
Steelers,
fast start. It was 17-0, and the Steelers are eking back. Let's hope they don't get any closer than they are now.
We'll leave time for another update towards the end. Because,
yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, we'll circle back to another
I
close to the end update.
I made sure we get the Bengals score, and then of course we won't have the score tonight for Buffalo versus Baltimore because that's 8:20 game, which I'll get into that. But there's a few stats that I want to zero in on, which are pretty interesting to me.
You're interesting, George.
You drinking beers?
I am drinking beers. But go ahead, sorry.
But no, let's zero in on a few interesting Kevin Stefanski stats, which this is something I kind of didn't send you guys, I don't think. Under Kevin Stefanski, the Browns are 15-2 all time when they don't turn over the football.
Yeah, well, right.
But I mean, that's a pretty impressive stat. Like
that means we're running the ball for 100+ yards with Nick Chubb. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Well, and then, too, it's just the whole ebb and flow. We wish we'd get more turnovers, but, yes, we're good at taking care of the ball. So, yeah, I'd love to see us keep taking care of the ball that good and then forcing more turnovers on the other side.
I think the turnovers are momentum shifts, man. The quarterback throws an interception. The defense is like, fuck, we got to go back out. Like it actually is a momentum shift.
Yeah.
The crowd changes. The crowd now is in. It's loud. It's a momentum shifter when you get the ball.
The Browns, as good as their defense has been, like especially last year, but the thing is, with the way to beat the Browns is get our defense out on the field for too long.
We have a comment. Should have kept Flacco.
I agree.
Yeah,
I don't know who said that, but
that's
I
a main
agree.
comment we get quite often when we go live about sports.
That was my guy.
So that's a pretty wild stat, though. And then stat number 2. Following a loss, you guys have all heard the number. Following a loss, Stefanski is 19-7 all time, which is a 73% win percentage coming off a loss.
All right,
that's a good stopper. Yep. That's
what was it? What was his record after it?
19-7
all time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, because he
loss.
tells the guys, "Hey, you guys got to clean it up." Yeah, like you said, he always talks about playing clean football, not turning over the ball. He gets mad about penalties. And so that's the thing is he maybe he gets kind of harder on these guys, and then the next week they turn it around. So we'll see what happens today. I still got the Raiders winning. I think I said 21-10 earlier this week. So even despite with some of the injuries, I'm going to change it. With Adams out, I'm going to change it to 17-10 Raiders.
We'll get to our picks at the very end. So don't hold off on your picks, gentlemen. God, jumping the gun. He's excited over here. He's like, here we go, Brownies. He's a chub. He's a chub in his pants.
I'm all right.
He said, I'm all right. Any other thoughts on Stefanski? I have one more crazy stat that I accidentally found today as I'm looking up certain things. All right, last Stefanski stat. Kevin Stefanski is 11-2 all time versus teams that have a cat mascot.
Oh, I know we Jaguar well, so that's right.
He's
yeah.
6-2
We
versus
always
the
beat
Bengals.
the Bengals.
Yeah. Yeah.
3-0 versus the Jaguars, 1-0 versus the Lions, and 1-0 versus the Panthers.
Okay.
11-2 all time versus teams with cat mascots.
Oh, ain't no cat today, so that.
So how's he do with the skull
There isn't a
mascot?
cat today. Damn it, you're right. I got excited.
How's he do against the ones with the skull mascot, like the Buccaneers and the Raiders?
Yeah, I don't know that one. But that's a funny stat, though. I was like, damn, that's a pretty good record.
That's funny.
All right, Chubb news. We finally got a little news on Chubb yesterday. Running back Nick Chubb. The Browns are expected to open Chubb's return to practice possibly as early as Tuesday of this coming week. As we all know, Chubb has been on the PUP list to start this season and has been out since week 2 of last season. And I think I still said it. I said this a couple weeks ago. I believe Chubb's return is going to be home against Cincinnati for our first divisional game. Don't let him play the next 3 weeks. Why? Don't even need him. Don't let him play on the road. Let his return. We don't have a line to run by. Let the line get out. So I'm like, make his return at home in front of the home crowd. Let the stadium go absolutely fucking nuts against Cincinnati. That's my opinion. I've said that a few weeks ago.
We can't really afford to keep dropping these games.
And then, Jaden Daniels has been playing good. Yeah, we can't afford to keep dropping these games, and even if we survive the Raiders next week's Washington.
But if we do lose these games, we do drop these games, you have something to look forward to as Browns fans. Chubb coming back.
Well, this game is winnable.
You see what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
Washington,
Yeah, but if we
Washington's
keep losing
hard.
many more of them, you can forget about the playoffs.
And
So-
Philly's not looking good right now, too, which I don't think not a lot of people expected. I mean, they're getting blown out by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a good team, don't get me wrong, but they're not looking like the
I
normal
know.
Phillies.
I'm
So this
surprised
is-
how awful Philly's
we
team's
have a
been.
chance to win 2 out of 3. I don't think we'll win against Washington, but
in Washington, we talked about this on the Honest Abe Sports Report on Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
And none of us even talked about Jaden Daniels as
Nope,
Rookie of the
he
Year.
snuck
he
right
wasn't
in.
even. He wasn't even. I didn't even put a graphic up of him to talk about him. So that's pretty cool that an untalked about player like him is playing probably the best. He's the best rookie quarterback right now, I think.
Well, yeah, it's good for the league because you never want picks 1 and 2 to be a bust, and like we're not saying it's late enough to call Caleb Williams a bust, but just in case that guy happens to not have a storybook career, it's nice to know that Jaden Daniels is hopefully holding up his end of the bargain at that top of the draft.
Now next week we play Washington, right?
Yes.
yeah.
So I believe they already ruled out Chubb's not playing next week.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
I'm
all
not
right.
even
So,
hoping for
so
that. Yeah.
if anything, he'll be back for the Eagles
Right.
the following week.
And at this rate,
and
with
then
how
Cincinnati, I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, come back for Cincinnati. Their defense isn't playing well. It's at home. You're going to get the stadium rise. Cleveland fans are going to go nuts. You know it. He's going to be
Right.
He's going to be like the Aaron Rodgers American
As
flag.
soon as he touches the ball, the stadium will go nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
It's just a shame as like a fan dream matchup standpoint. If he could be ready a week earlier, we could see the Chubb versus Barkley matchup. Now that would be a badass running back head-to-head. But yeah, if he's not ready, he's not ready, and then we got to save him for the next week.
And in a way, I'm thinking like these Cleveland Browns, like, ownership wants him to get that big hoorah in front of the home stands. Like, it just makes sense to me.
Well,
In my
hey,
opinion.
well,
Yeah,
Pierre
give us a
Strong is
spark.
out this week.
Yeah,
so,
Pierre Strong is out. Yep.
So you're already down him. All you got is Foreman
Dude, run the ball with Foreman,
and
brother.
Ford. So, yeah, I mean, we could use Chubb.
When do you think Chubb will honestly be back? I said my opinion. Do you think he'll be back for the Eagles game?
For the Eagles
You
game.
think he will be for
Yeah.
sure back, 100%?
I think it'd be cool to just sort of oversell it and then make him a glorified decoy, like just maybe pepper him in for a nice 5 to 7 carry package in the Eagles game, and then we've got him guns blazing for the Bengals
A
game.
few carries.
So
That is a good idea. Just break him in, but you got to make Philly worry about him and game plan for him all that week, even if it is just for 7 to 9 plays.
Yup, and then you
even if
find
he's
out.
just a decoy on the play,
he's
that could
secondary.
leave.
Even
Right.
if he's in uniform and doesn't play, they still got to think that he's playing. I
Yeah,
agree.
he's earned that
I
respect.
agree. I would definitely do the same exact thing. So it's exciting, Chubb, that they've talked about Chubb. This first update we've got in quite some time because I've been asking Kyle, how's your update on Chubb? Because he has Chubbs.
It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear some news, and with injury, there's more bad news than good. So it's nice to hear some news, and it's nice to hear some news that's not bad all at
Hey,
once.
so
with
the Colts did
Yeah, I was
score
going to say,
again.
give me the score update.
Okay,
Steelers,
patted that
Colts, or
lead.
what?
All right.
10-23 Colts.
Beautiful.
10-23 Colts. Steelers heading in that game with 3-0. The Colts, 2-1?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Okay.
Yeah, the Colts have been pretty banged up with injuries, and they're 1 and 2.
And,
So.
I'll say, let's talk about these games a little bit.
That's 2
let's talk-
touchdowns
Let's
for
talk about the
Flacco.
Steelers for a second. Unexpectedly, they're 3-0,
right.
top of the division.
We knew we'd have a good defense. They'd have a good defense, the
And
Steelers,
they would run the ball.
Right, and with game script and stuff, they haven't really been challenged to play any rapid fire catch up, so they've been able to do all safe and this whole 3 yards in a cloud of dust stuff.
And Fields, though, is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's not turning over the ball. He's getting out of traffic because their offensive line's not the greatest.
Right.
So I'm just like, he's doing what he needs to do. And what's crazy is Fields goes down, you have a guy like Russell Wilson on your bench. Like, isn't that wild?
That is wild. Yeah.
There's not many quarterback situations as good as that, in my opinion. And I'll be honest, I'm not high on Fields, but I think he fits into what Pittsburgh does. Run the football, play good defense, don't turn the ball over, and you more than likely have a close game.
Yeah, he
to win it at the end.
He absolutely never had the luxury of this whole game manager hat he's wearing in Chicago than he is in Pittsburgh. So yes, he's thriving in that role, and yes, it was unprecedented. There was no sample size. Chicago never put him in a position to be a game manager ever. So
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever had the right coaching in Chicago.
Yeah, they're quarterback ruiners there, man.
it's so funny. I just saw a random meme because just sometimes the algorithm's a little muddy on where you're from or whatever. But it was just about the NFC North country and stuff, and it was like Malik Willis. I don't know how much credit he deserved, but the point is the Packers, Malik Willis, won 2 straight games, and there was this Packers meme like, we just grew a better quarterback in 2 weeks than Chicago has in a century. Because they like turned
Yeah,
Malik
right.
Willis from like a caveman into a competent human being in 2 weeks, and the Bears have literally been trying 100 years to do anything at quarterback ever. So
Then do we have an update on the Bengals-Panthers game, Kyle?
yeah, we might as well equal time.
The Andy Dalton
Yup.
revenge game.
The red rifle hunting range situation right here.
We love a good ginger.
Yep, I still remember watching that
31
Rose
to
Bowl.
21 Bengals.
31-21. How much time's
Ooh,
left in that
spicy.
game?
Going into the fourth
Hey.
quarter now.
Fourth quarter, huh? So we're getting. Oh, it's just starting the fourth. So 31-21.
Yeah.
All right.
And the Ravens play tonight.
Yeah, against the Bills have looked pretty good. So
That'll be a good game.
let's have Dalton have a
well-
late rally, and let's hope that everyone but us in the division can take an L and go from there, and let's see what we can do.
I'm rooting for that fire crotch.
Oh my.
One of our top fans just came in. That was Charles. He's been on the Abraham Draga podcast before. We actually did a show live from his living room.
That was fun.
Oh yeah, he did. We were there. And then, like I said already, the Baltimore Ravens play the Buffalo Bills tonight. Sunday Night Football. 3-0 Bills versus the 1-2 Ravens. Who do you guys got winning this one?
I've loved.
It's in Baltimore.
It's in
That's
Baltimore.
it is in
3-0
Baltimore.
Bills at 2-1. 1-2
Baltimore will
Ravens.
probably get it done.
And well, if you looked at Baltimore last week, they figured it out. They only threw the ball, I think, 17 times the entire game. They ran the football. What's his name finally came to life?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, and he looked the part again. I'm like, look out.
That Buffalo defense is playing good, though. I don't know. I have a feeling this game might be like one of the top 3 NFL games of the year.
You don't
Yeah,
think, you
it's
don't
going to
think,
be a good one,
you
man.
don't think
Yeah.
you don't think the NFL scripted and they'll let the Baltimore Ravens fall to 1-3?
I will never subscribe to a scripted narrative. That's just a cop out. You either think sports are real or they're not. But that's just how I roll on scripts. But
No, I
anyway,
agree.
yeah, I know.
But 1-3, like Baltimore Ravens fall to 1-3, they're in trouble.
Well, dude, Baltimore needs this so much more. So that's what makes this fascinating. Baltimore needs this so much more, but Buffalo's impressed me more. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be a nail biter. Baltimore really needs this one, especially like from a dreaming big standpoint to like stop it being impossible to chase home field, because the Chiefs are undefeated too, and you let Buffalo stay undefeated, then suddenly if you have 1 or 2 losses, you're getting pretty discouraged about chasing home field. And you know the Ravens are a franchise that, if things go right, have Super Bowl dreams. So this is a huge game. I do think Buffalo prevails tonight. I think Buffalo wins a nice 28-21 game. They gave their secondary a $60 million haircut. They have pretty good personnel, guys. I can only assume if you trim that much payroll in the back, you think your front 7 can make up for it, and you think you've got depth to replace that back line. So that's their logic. Let's see if they're right, and let's see how this game goes. That's how I see the night game going in a nutshell.
Dilbert, you got a score of who's winning? Did you say Bills or?
I think Baltimore's going to win. Sort of like his score, but like 27-23. I think Buffalo will have a chance to try to score a game-winning drive.
I'm kind
But
of interested.
He'll have a turnover. He'll have one of his famous turnovers that he hasn't had in a fat minute.
And I'm interested to see what the weather's like, because our weather here is not good right now. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's outside in Baltimore. So I'm like, is it going to be rainy? Is it
Logic would
gonna have to
dictate
run the
it'll be
football?
average at best, because if
Yeah.
our weather isn't that good and Baltimore's closer than
Yeah.
where all these meteorological problems are happening
Right.
here. So
Yeah,
you would have to think it's almost like would be an upset if the weather was even like kind of normal. So yeah, there's going to be some stuff going on there, and from that standpoint, just to oversimplify it, generally awful weather favors the running team, and you know
that's what I was getting into. the
Buffalo's
weather.
defiantly pass heavy, and,
Yeah.
and especially in today's game, Baltimore's exceptionally run heavy. So if you just buy into bad weather favors a running team, I will admit, even though Buffalo's my pick, the worse the weather is, you know, that logic does flip the script towards Baltimore.
Kyle, who'd you say you have?
I'm going to take the Ravens.
Got a score?
28-21.
28-21. No field goals. Fuck the special teams.
Yeah, no field goals. We're on the cusp of hurricane weather, right in line with that bad weather.
Yeah.
I think someone embarrasses themselves on a 37-yarder in the first quarter, and then the other coach
but,
just learns from it. Like, that's enough of that.
Like Aaron said, watch for a turnover.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go back to, I don't think Baltimore is going to fall to 1-3. I think they are going to win this one. I think the weather might play a factor. I don't know how the weather is. Anyone got a weather update or could look up the weather? I'm interested to see, because if it is raining,
yeah, let me check that out here.
I think Baltimore is probably going to win the game because they can run the football. You have a guy like Derrick Henry.
Better call Stick Goddard.
Scattered showers.
Called from the grave. Called Dick Goddard from the grave. Jesus, Aaron, that was morbid.
He's one of the best weathermen ever.
Yeah, that's all right.
Nothing bad with him.
Right.
But Buffalo's been running the ball a little bit more this year too. But I mean, there's only so many runs. There's only so many runs that Josh.
How did you say the weather was? I'm sorry.
60% chance of showers.
So showers. So you got a guy like Derrick Henry, perfect security blanket to run the football. 30 plus times, big body. I don't want to bring that guy. You want to tackle him one-on-one?
No, never.
Hell to the no.
No.
And then I want to talk about this game. I don't know we got to get an update on this score because it was our game of the week this past week.
It's still 28-7.
We had Vikings at Packers.
Vikings are up 28-7.
I admit I was wrong. I picked the Packers.
Hold on, I want to get to the scores.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I have the scores here.
28-7 Vikings.
So our game of the week this week was Vikings at Packers playing at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Hunter picked the Vikings 27-7. Kyle picked the Vikings 21-7. I picked the Vikings 27-13. And Tito, lone tripper on this one. The lone tripper picked the Packers 28-17.
Yeah.
So, man, we were all pretty close with the score, to be honest, and then Tito's lone wolf.
Yeah, like I said, I was impressed with how they minded the store the 2 weeks they were missing Jordan Love. And, before even really reading into the situation, whether it was Willis or Love, I thought the home field and the Packers would stop the unbeaten Vikings. And they didn't, man. Justin Jefferson's a beast. Jefferson's a monster, and H.A.S.R. Alexander's a good cornerback, but the best receiver in the NFL usually beats a top 5 corner, even a top 5 corner off to a hot start. So I really oversold H.A.S.R. Alexander maybe getting lucky and strong-arming that matchup. That obviously didn't happen. I don't know Jefferson's stats, but I know he has at least a touchdown, and the Vikings passing game's been having a pretty easy time. So
I got to throw a dig at you. The lights shine too bright for that pick.
I was wishing there was 2 games of the week because my singular NFL game of the week prediction, did in fact fizzle out at the ball.
I had to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, of course, always.
And right now, really quick, I got shout out my boy Baker Mayfield.
Oh, boy.
Tearing up the Eagles.
Right.
Two passing TDs. I don't know what the stats are now, but I think before we got started our show, 2 passing TDs, 1 rushing TD, and he's ripping the Eagles apart right now.
You're bigger on that guy than anyone around, and anyone who's big in the Mayfield corner is looking good right now.
We have a score update. Buccaneers are up 33-16.
Oh,
Eagles got the ball now.
How much time left? 10 minutes.
10 minutes in the 4th.
So comfortably, they should win that.
Over.
If they run the ball, play smart, they should win that. Come up victorious, and that would put up the Buccaneers at what?
3-1 if they win.
3-1 with a shitty quarterback like Baker Mayfield? You guys are crazy.
Right next to my division pick in that division, the Saints, assuming they hold off the Falcons at 3-1. They're 2-1 fighting the Falcons.
The Falcons is a weird team, too.
Yeah.
They're so weird. Like, they look really good, and then they just look horrible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into our final picks. The Browns and Raiders game. Let's make our picks. I want to know the score, who's going to win, and who will be the biggest playmaker, game changer in this one. Browns versus Raiders.
So I said earlier in the week 21-17, but with Adams out, I'm going to drop it to 17-10. I mean 21-10, and I'm going to drop it to 17-10 and go with the Raiders. Deshaun Watson, I don't think he'll get it done. He's just been mediocre, and our offensive line's banged up. Even with Adams out, they'll find a way to beat us.
All right, give me I have 20-17 Browns, which would eke out the over by half a point, and absolutely dependent on a rare turnover. I have it a pretty ugly offensive game. we throw more than we run. Deshaun Watson gets 302 yards, so he could say, look, I got my 300-yard game. We get our defensive touchdown, and the Browns win 20-17. Emerson plays the ball a lot. Give me Emerson to either force a big fumble or run one back.
Mr. Dilbert, what do you got for us?
I'm going to go with Browns 19-17.
All right.
I think we'll score on that first drive, and then it's just going to be a field goal frenzy. And like I said, I think Vegas will have a chance to try to get a game-winning field goal, but Myles Garrett or somebody will cause something, or a 4-and-out, 3-and-out. It'll be just down to our defense on the last drive.
Would you say the score 19-17?
Yeah, like a weird score.
I took the under on the points because I think it was 36.5 heading into the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going under. The Browns are going to win this 17-16 in a close one, because I just don't think our offense is going to be able to move the ball today. The Browns' offensive line's banged up. Not very good right now. Deshaun's not playing well. Njoku's out. Pierre Strong, a backup running back's out. I think this is like a Deontay Foreman pound the football game. And same thing, Gardner Minshew doesn't have Devontae Adams, doesn't have one of his tight ends. So I'm like, who's going to make more plays than their team? And I don't think there's going to be many big plays today. So I'm going 17-16 Browns, and we'll see what happens there. Gentlemen, any final skid marks before we end the night show?
Hey, hopefully we finally get that 300-yard game that we've all been hoping for from Watson.
I will personally hug Tito the next time I see him with a bear hug. If that's the case.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Dilbert bear hug before?
No, but
that guy has
I
big old
ballpark.
Big old fucking, look at them arms.
He's a little scared.
Yeah, admittedly
like
so. But
Dilbert, final skid marks?
It's a game that we need, and of course all the Browns fans are saying it, and it's just every week we sit here and have to hope and pray, and it's not going to be easy. We're not going to get a game that we should win easily, like how Tampa Bay is handling Philadelphia. We can't have a game like that. It's just going to be down to the last drive, hope and prayers. Wow, the Browns squeak one out tomorrow. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Kyle, final skid mark.
Fucking irritating.
Hey, go Browns. Hopefully we see it from Watson.
He said, go Browns, drinking a beer like a true Browns fan.
That's it, lead and mean.
Yeah, my final skid mark is what? Always live and die with the deep ball, baby. Chuck that motherfucker, Deshaun. All right. Well, there you have it. As always, I'm George Gresco alongside Kyle Carini, Tito Round Tripper, Baseball Whisperer, Mr. Dilbert himself. Please share the show, tell a friend, follow us across all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. That's going to do it. Be on the lookout for our next sports report coming in the next couple of weeks. Can we get a Here We Go Brownies?
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Don't forget, Honest Abe will tell no lie.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Steer right! Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
Baseball beer.